Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Monday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Let me straighten up this camera a little bit, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. What is going on, everybody? A pretty jammed-packed weekend is now behind us. We got to watch some NFL playoff football, laughed at a couple of teams getting eliminated. We also got to watch a little bit of Pittsburgh Penguins hockey. They playing the Columbus Blue Jackets back on Saturday. And today, right now, actually, off to my right, you will occasionally see me glancing over this way. The Penguins in action right now. Puck just dropped at 5 o'clock against the Seattle Kraken. Good news for the Pens. They are already up 2-0 in this game. Goals from Parker Wotherspoon and Connor Dewar. Dewar's on a shorthanded opportunity. So the Penguins off to a good start. A little under 5.5 minutes left to go in that first period. We'll occasionally check in on how the Pens are doing. Was wondering, should I go live? Should it be a Penguins game day live stream? But instead, we're just going to occasionally see what happens in this game because we have a ton to talk about today. Most importantly, the Steelers continue to search for their next head coach, their fourth head coach since 1969. We will kick off the show here in a moment talking about the latest news around the candidates that the Steelers are potentially looking at to be their new head coach, and a new development today. Well, really a development each day over the weekend. 2, now as in the past couple of hours ago, 3 head coaching vacancies around the NFL have been filled, but one opened up this morning that could pose big problems for the Steelers. What all exactly is going on, we'll try to make sense of it together. I will fill you in here in a matter of moment. After that, we got another little story for the Steelers to talk about here on a Monday. It was pretty much guaranteed by all Steelers fans. Once, Mike Tomlin stepped down and he was gone. Well, there goes Aaron Rodgers, a one-and-done year for AR8. Let's put a pause on that. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Conflicting reports say Rodgers is gone, but also there is some chance out there that Rodgers could return. Who that report is, how that report is out there, who it's coming from, we will get to as well. We'll talk a little bit more about the Penguins in their last game as we continue to occasionally tune into this game here tonight. And then we'll wrap up, of course, with, as usual, extra Pittsburgh sports news. But before we get into all of that, firstly, want to begin off every show how we normally do. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing on the channel again. Also, like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment in the comment section. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, please put those in there. I enjoy interacting with you fine folks. To the comment section we go to kick off Monday. Like normal, it is concepts. What is going on? What is up? What is the catch? Will we ever know? What is the catch? Yeah, more catch controversy over the weekend in some games. Buffalo Bills fans up in arms, understandably. When a receiver has the ball in his hands, when is he down by contact? That's I think the more appropriate question there because, nobody knows what a catch is. We wish that we could get more of a definitive answer on it, but we will never know. We've seen controversy with catches come into Steelers games this past season. The Ravens won, Isaiah Likely, most notably. Will we ever know a catch? Probably not. So I'm just going to leave things right there. Concepts getting another few comments in here about what I teased a moment ago, that being could a new job opening pose big questions for the Steelers. Looking at your comment here, Josh Allen to the Steelers. I would love Josh Allen for the Steelers. He can't win there in Buffalo. Free him. He can't win in Buffalo. Free him. We'll send you a 3rd and a 7th round pick for him. Also, if Josh Allen doesn't want to go anywhere, I know he had a absolutely terrible, terrible playoffs, but CJ Stroud looks like he hit a ceiling there in Houston. Might want to give him a change of scenery. I'd take CJ Stroud just because still I don't think he's going to be the Mr. 5 interceptions and 5 fumbles in 2 games forever. So, give us CJ Stroud, give us Josh Allen. We'll fix our quarterback situation up for our new head coach. I will say that. Speaking of coaches, like I said, we are going to start off the show here, and I look over the Seattle Kraken with 3:48 left in the first period. They just pulled the game back within 1. It is now 2-1. The Penguins began this game actually outshooting the Kraken like 6-2 or something, getting those 2 goals. Let's see what happened here. It was a turnover in the corner. Guy all alone coming in on Stuart Skinner, beats him high blocker side. Not much Stu is going to do with that speed, that fast of a shot from that range there. So 2-1 right now. Anyways, back to the show here. Officially kicking things off. Like I said, Steelers, their head coaching search now in full swing. They began their search officially on Friday. I believe they had 3 guys in for interviews on Friday in Chris Shula. They also had in Nate I'm trying to remember. Shielhaus. See, I always want to go Shayleys, but Shielhaus, Nate Shielhaus, and Jeff Hafley, the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator. We now know that one of those options is off the board. We'll get to that in a moment. The Steelers also were scheduled to have another interview 2 days ago with Jesse Minter, the DC of the LA Chargers. I'm going to assume that took place as well, but we got a new candidate filling in for the now departed candidate, Jeff Hafley. We'll get to him here in a moment. You're going to see his big Yinzer face popped up on your screen right now. Just real quick, going through what all has gone on with these candidates linked to the Steelers over the past few days here. Let's start with the big one, the one that I think you and I and a majority of all of us in here would want as the next Steelers head coach, Chris Shula. Shula, Steelers, one of 5 teams that wound up interviewing him last week. Shula interviewed with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Miami, Las Vegas, and Arizona. He has gotten 7 requests, had 5 interviews. Of those 7 requests, he did at least confirm, at least has been confirmed of denying one, that being the Cleveland Browns head coaching request. So already love this guy already, Shula, shooting down any attempts of the Browns getting him. Shula did on Saturday interview with the Baltimore Ravens, so that came after the Steelers. Not sure if it's if you want to view it as a good thing or a bad thing. The Steelers were able to get him in their building first or not, but he has been on the Ravens radar. The Ravens have interviewed a ton of people. We'll get to that here a little bit later on in this segment. Good news, I guess, is that, well, I mean, good news, bad news. It's kind of hard to decipher this. The Steelers, they are still in the mix for Shula, and they are, I believe, scheduled for a second meeting with him. Bad news is the LA Rams, they played well. Their defense played well, held the outstanding Bears offense to 10 points. So good job from Shula there. But also now in-person interviews for Shula are going to get pushed back a week now. So the Steelers, Ravens, all those teams who are in on him, they are going to need to wait a little bit more longer for his services. Just like I said, did a real good job in that Bears game. I think opened up a lot of eyes for people. But even though he is, I think, on some betting markets, still the favorite for the Steelers, he is going to need to wait a little bit longer before he is able to be interviewed in person. Same thing goes for Nathan Shieldhouse, passing game coordinator for the Rams. He, too, is going to be delayed a little bit by a week in his in-person interviews. He also was interviewed by the Ravens, so Ravens in on him as well. I think this is their only interview that they have with the Ravens. The Cleveland that he has with the Ravens. The Cleveland Browns, though, they are particularly interested in Shieldhouse. They already met with him once, and they have a second interview scheduled with him when he is available to do so. So Shieldhouse, I believe the Browns are narrowing their list. They have like 6 guys they're bringing back on second interviews. I would take it that those guys are the finalists. We shall see. But Shieldhouse is one of those, unfortunately. I really like Shieldhouse. Am I all gung-ho for him going from passing game coordinator straight to head coach? I'd be lying if I say I was, but when you hear people say, hey, if you want the next to McVay, this guy is as close as you're going to get to McVay, I really like that. I would love him as our offensive coordinator to Shula as the head coach, but we shall see if that happens. Like I said, when one door closes, another one opens up. The door that is closing for the Steelers, their interest in Jeff Hafley has come to a close over the weekend. Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, he emerged as the front runner for the Miami Dolphins head coaching job. We just learned within the last hour or so that Hafley will be taking that job with Miami. So he is off the boards. Entering, though, into the Rolodex of coaches that the Steelers could take a look at. You're looking at him on your screen right now. Mike McCarthy. Get in the comment section right now how you folks feel about the Yinzer himself, Mike McCarthy. His dad, firefighter, and was a Pittsburgh Police Department officer, so he knows all about the city of Pittsburgh. Does McCarthy, of course, I believe he's in the top 15 for wins in head coaching history here. So, of course, Dallas Cowboys was there for a while, coached Aaron Rodgers for the Packers. So, I mean, to go along with a segment later on in the show, could McCarthy, him coming in here, could that open up the door for a Rodgers return that much further? Because right now it's just a little crack. We shall see. But yeah, McCarthy, he came in as an interesting candidate. I will say he does, in my opinion, fit the idea of what I believe Art Rooney II would want. Rooney doesn't want to do a rebuild. He said he hates that. He wants to try to compete every year. Well, if you want to get a close thing to Mike Tomlin back in here, McCarthy might be that type of guy. Or, you can bring him in. He's been, he's proved in the past that he can bottom things out as well. Another guy who's got former head coaching experience who also does not like to tank or lose, Brian Flores. He started out like middle of the pack for the Steelers job, maybe on the outskirts of the top three, in my opinion. He's starting to rise those head coaching candidate boards a little bit. Steelers, they met with him once before, or I think they're going to meet with him, coming up here tomorrow. That will be an in-person interview with Flores. And before he even made it into the building, you have a report from Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette today. He said that Flores, not even having done his first interview, is already getting scheduled a second interview with the Steelers. So he is sort of being given a free pass here, go all the way to the semifinals here for this job. Flores, Steelers still view him highly from his 1 year here back in 2023 as the linebackers coach. Last two candidates right now being linked to the Steelers. Again, two defensive coordinators, Anthony Weaver, or defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator. Anthony Weaver, DC for the Dolphins. We'll see what goes on now that Halfley is down in Miami. I bet you he's kind of like what the Steelers coordinators here are going through in Pittsburgh, where, hey, new coaching staff coming in. I'm going to be out of a job, but hey, I'll still take head coaching looks. He is going to get a second interview from the Steelers as well. I think the Steelers already met with him. That might have been yesterday, but I am not sure. So Weaver, he's going to get a second in-person interview with the Steelers. Also, the Ravens, they are going to be bringing in Weaver on Tuesday, tomorrow, for his second interview there. So Weaver, maybe he's starting to rise up a little bit now. Could be going to either Baltimore or Pittsburgh, both of these squads, seeing what there is to know about Weaver. The last guy, not too much on him right now, Clay Kubiak. He was, of the 9 candidates out there right now for the Steelers, he was like number 8 before McCarthy. Not much going on with him. Just held a virtual interview yesterday, I believe, did Kubiak. He's going to have a ton more time now that the 49ers are eliminated to, maybe do an in-person interview, but just a virtual interview for him so far. Maybe the Steelers invite him back or invite him to Pittsburgh for an in-person interview. We shall see. I mean, putting up 6 points against the Seattle Seahawks defense, maybe that turned off a couple of teams. We'll see if the Steelers are one of them. That's pretty much it for the Steelers head coaching search. Second interviews going to be beginning this week, unless some other candidates pop up out there. Have not put out a request for Clint Kubiak yet, the OC for the Seahawks. I'm a little disappointed in that one. I thought out of all the offensive-minded head coaches out there, he would be the most ideal, but nothing on Clint Kubiak. We'll have to settle for Clay for now. Looking at the other two division rivals of the Steelers, again, these guys interested in some candidates that the Steelers are interested in as well. Besides the guys that I mentioned, the Ravens in on Weaver and Shula and all that, they also did bring in Joe Brady, offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, and they brought in Robert Saleh yesterday, DC, for the 49ers. So that'd be interesting if they get Saleh, but we get Clay Kubiak. That'd be interesting situation. Also, the Ravens, they are interviewing today Jaguars defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile. So that's a bit off the beaten path interview right there. The Ravens in total, I mean, they have somewhere between 12 and 15 interviews. They brought in all sorts of other big name head coaches: Clint Kubiak, Vance Joseph, Matt Nagy. They brought in Cliff Kingsbury, and then of course Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, and a few guys that the Steelers are interested in: Shula, Jesse Minter, Brian Flores. For the Browns, they have not found their next head coach yet. They are pretty much interviewing everyone under the sun. They have been on mostly every single candidate the Steelers have. They also have been looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars OC, Grant Udinski. They've taken a look at Ravens OC, Todd Monken, and former Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel. The lone guy in their six right here, their 6-second interview candidates. The lone guy two guys that are linked to the Steelers that they're looking at, Jesse Minter and Nate Scheelhaase. I believe Scheelhaase, they are big time invested in, but we shall see if, a McDaniel or a Todd Monken will be able to woo them before the end of this thing. One thing's for sure, the Steelers, nor the Ravens, nor the Browns will be able to hire anyone else's head coach. John Harbaugh, he has officially gone off the board to the New York Giants. That deal became official over the weekend. So there's one job off the board. Another job off the board, the Atlanta Falcons, they hired Kevin Stefanski, and I think Stefanski is going to bring some of his Cleveland staff down to Atlanta with him. So just like that, the two AFC North coaches, besides Mike Tomlin, he is just, going to be taking off here. But other than that, the two AFC North coaches who were looking for employment again, they off the board just like that to begin the coaching cycle. And they were followed today by Jeff Hafley. The problem for the Steelers boasting the Buffalo Bills, we mentioned it at the top of the show. Sean McDermott out this morning after the divisional round loss to the Broncos. Is McDermott going to be a head coaching candidate for the Steelers? I don't know. Maybe they do an interview to, just, get him in there, see and pick his brain a little bit. But head coach here, McDermott, I'm going to go no. Could he go elsewhere? I definitely think that would be the case. But a premium opening up there in Buffalo now. Josh Allen still there. Besides the Steelers, the more prestigious jobs out there right now, you can argue are out there. Josh Allen and the Bills, that's definitely number one. You're also going to a new stadium. I'm sure that plays a factor. The Ravens and Lamar Jackson, that's probably more intriguing than the Steelers. And maybe you can make an argument for the Las Vegas Raiders as well. Move out west. There's not a whole ton of pressure out there, and you get the first overall pick, Fernando Mendoza as well. So at least three jobs that you could argue are better than the Steelers right now, but the biggest one of them all, unfortunately, just popping up today in the Buffalo Bills. Before I was super confident that if the Steelers really wanted one of Nathan Scheelhaase or Chris Shula, that they could get them if they really wanted to. Now, especially, it feels like for a guy like Shula, it feels like, Buffalo is just a good fit for him. And you're going to take his defensive mind there, but he's also going to bring that McVay offense to the Buffalo Bills lineup with Allen. That is a potentially scary thing to think about there. So we'll see what comes of it. We'll monitor the Bills situation because they are the biggest threat out there to poach maybe someone else's number one head coaching candidate. Other than that, Steelers right now still going through their process. Not sure. I think Shula is the favorite. Flores might be climbing up the boards here, but too foggy still to pick out a candidate above the rest. We shall see here if anything comes up in the next few days or not. Again, Steelers, they usually go young defensive mind, and they get that hire done and out of the way pretty early. They've always hired their head coaches, near the back end of January here. We're approaching that pretty quickly here. Let's see if they're able to get it done here. 10 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream. Probably keep things a bit short here on a Monday. We had a long week last week. Tomlin stepping down, the Rooney press conference Friday. We were on for 2 hours talking about everything. But we'll see how things go here tonight. to the comments section. Guys lighting up the comments while I was doing that opening bit. Freight Train, welcome in. Freight Train just got here. Go Pens, watching on a times 2 to catch up. That's all right. Glad to have you here. Freight Train, Al on the prowl. Same to you. What is going on? It's on first intermission right now. The Penguins game 2-1 after one period of play. We shall see what goes on with the Pens game moving forward. Looking more at your comments here, concepts. SESR for head coach, SESR dev for OC. Honestly, let's keep it fair here. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's have him be the head coach. He's the head honcho. It feels like he'd be able to kick the team's ass into shape more so than Tomlin. I'll be OC though, and we can do that. Or someone in the comment section, one of you guys, you can be DC, fight over it. Or maybe I'll be DC. One of you guys can be offensive coordinator. We'll run the football a ton, establish the run there. Concepts. Love that comment. Still wonder if they might try to do an interim head coach until they can get the guy they want. The Steelers do a interim head coach. I doubt it. They've already told the coaching staff already in place from Tomlin that they're going to all be gone with the new coach coming in. So there won't be any sort of interim tag. And I doubt anybody out there, if it's a coordinator interviewing for the Steelers job, I doubt they're going to leave their coordinating job just to come here and be a laying duck head coach for a couple of months until they find the one that they truly want. So no interim head coach tag. It's a long off season. They're going to find someone here probably soon. Morgan with the perfect feed, and Novak whiffed on the game over here. Yeah, I mean, I've been half listening to it. That's why I got this piece of the headset off here tonight. So, all right, what happened to my screen here? Hang on one second. Where's the... there we go. Sorry, screen went blank there for a second. Must have accidentally hit the button here. Concepts here again. Rodgers like McCarthy. Media maybe made up drama like usual. I remember claims Rodgers got him fired, whatever that means. I'm not educated in what all went down at the end of McCarthy's tenure in Green Bay. Did Rodgers like McCarthy? I think he's spoken, well of him in the past. McCarthy, the same thing about Rodgers. Again, I'm just throwing it out there. If they don't hate each other, if they actually do have a good relationship, it's still a long shot McCarthy gets hired here, and I think even longer long shot that Rodgers returns. But just saying, connecting two dots here, it's unlikely, but it's not impossible, which is exactly the banner for the second topic I want to talk about. Aaron Rodgers return to the Steelers. Might as well get that out of the way now. It's short and easy. Conflicting reports over the weekend. You had Ian Rappaport on Saturday saying that Rodgers is not expected to return to the Steelers. No duh. It's about, a week or 4 days late to all of us coming to that conclusion once Mike Tomlin left. But then Adam Schefter yesterday, he dropped in there that the Steelers remain open to Rodgers' return in 2026, a reunion, even though it's unlikely that Tomlin resigned. He said, almost to a man, Schefter here, Steelers players universally praised Rodgers during their exit interviews last week, and most, if not all of them, want the veteran quarterback to return in 2026. So the team, the players, they are calling for A-Rod to make a return at age 42. He'll be 43 during the season. But, I mean, even though they want him, Rodgers really did not look all that great in that playoff loss to Houston. I think he got hit and looked old, quite frankly. Also, dude goes to bat for Tomlin, and in his end of game press conference on Monday, and then not even 12 hours later, just like that, Tomlin tells the team that he's gone and he's walking out the door. I'm sure Rodgers wanting Tomlin to come back, and then I don't know how he's viewing Tomlin's decision to leave, whether he was forced out by fans or the organization or what, but he came here last year. Rodgers did, specifically for Mike Tomlin, and now the lone thing that brought him to Pittsburgh is gone. It's going to need to take an awful lot of convincing for him to return in 2026. But, I mean, hey, we'll see. Rodgers, it's unlikely, but it's not impossible. Players want him back. I'm sure some fans, a good bit of them out there, they want Rodgers back as well, but it still remains a pipe dream, in my opinion. More here on the Steelers head coaching search. Blake Flores really likes Shula's Rams defense. Also would prefer to go offensive head coach, but always the best candidate available, kind of like a BPA in the draft. What are your thoughts on the O versus defensive mind? In this case, I think you're talking about, the difference between Shula and Shieldhouse. I would love to have Shula to continue the good defense tradition that the Steelers have, and he can bring along and pickpocket, poach whatever coaches he wants off of the Rams staff. But the thing that's intriguing about Shieldhouse is that you bring in Shieldhouse, if he pans out as a offensive mind and an offensive coach, then you got your offense, and a damn good one that will not go anywhere as long as he's there. The defense, that might change every so often, but it's just a matter of picking which thing you want and which thing you want to take a risk on not having. Do you want to have the offensive mind in place? I'm starting to look at that and go, yeah, that might be the right move, just to have an offensive mind always there. But again, Shieldhouse and him just going straight from not even a coordinator, skipping that part altogether, going to head coach, that does worry me a little bit, that it could flame up, that he could flame out and it be a job too big for him too early. But we shall see. Am I the only person tired of hearing about AR? LOL. I think people are starting to get Aaron Rodgers fatigue now that the season is over. So I mean, you're not you're not all alone there. Al, some words I'm looking for. Steelers have heard our possibility of moving the stadium. This could be a problem. Yeah, they're not gonna move. They're not gonna move out of Pittsburgh. Could they move to, say, just outside the city, go to Lake Cranberry where the Penguins practice facility is, build something with space out there? That's a possibility, but I have not heard anything on that. Until there's something legitimately reported about that, I will just let it be right now. See what else is going on here. That'd be great as a quarterback coach. Who'd be great as a quarterback coach? Talking about someone in particular, or I'd be great as a quarterback coach. I guess maybe when we were going through who's taking what jobs, if we're all taking over the Steelers coaching staff here, maybe the only fan who would like it. Yeah, you can be a quarterback coach. Concepts, that's all right with me. Seeing if what other comments you guys want in here. Need to take O-line help or D-line help in the first round. No, didn't mean to step on that just like that, but wide receiver still. We have to fix that immediately. Still have DK Metcalf here, but you need a number 2 wide receiver. The offensive line and defensive line, you've seen some good stuff from them at points in the season, especially the right side of the offensive line, and the defensive line with Harmon looked pretty good. But yeah, I'm still going wide receiver first round. That's for sure there. Would much rather grab Ty Simpson in the second round. Grab someone who's good running or passing. Second round for Ty Simpson, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, with this quarterback crop that went from, oh, it looks really good on paper, to a few months later, these guys over here, they suck. And these guys over here, they are either transferring or going back to school. There was like Fernando Mendoza and nothing else in this draft class. I'm not touching a quarterback if I'm the Steelers until at least day 3 of the draft. And even then, I'm being a little optimistic from here. Also want a young guy like how Mahomes sat for a year to learn behind an established veteran quarterback. Need a young guy early in the draft if possible, or whoever they trust to develop. Well, we already got that part all down. Will Howard, he just sat for a year behind one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Throw him in there. I think that's why people want to see him so much. You learn under Rodgers, pick up on some of his tendencies and stuff like that. Let's see what you got, kid. Throw him out there. Very short leash in Buffalo compared to here. Well, I mean, he was there for 8 years, something like that, McDermott. So, I mean, in terms of today's coaching world, got a bit of a longer leash than most others. Tomlin, I mean, he wasn't on a leash, and he just walked himself around the dog park and officially, called it quits. Here with you that it might concern for Shula. Yeah, I mean, Buffalo, I think they are a big landing spot for Shula should they interview him, which I don't see why they wouldn't. Good point. Just want Muth to be featured and established to run. Learn from the best. Smart to switch roles, LOL. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to trust someone in this comment section if I go on defensive coordinator to get Freiermuth the ball and, run the ball efficiently and say, hey, it's, 3rd and 6 here. Let's not do a screenplay behind the line of scrimmage. I'd like to think someone in here would not do that at every, crucial opportunity. 13 of you in here right now. Let's keep things moving along here on a Monday, and we will come back to the Steelers here in a moment. Like I said, watching live, you're occasionally watching me look over here at the screen to my right. Second period we're now 4 minutes into that between the Penguins and the Kraken. Still 2-1 Penguins right now. Just a little bit on the Pens real quick before we get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news. Since we last spoke, they were in action over the weekend against the Columbus Blue Jackets. That game was electric from start to finish, but the Penguins unfortunately came out on the short end of the stick in that one. Artur Shilovs was in net for the Pens and was not a good start to the game. Jackets got out to an early lead. Former Penguin Zach Aston Reese just blindly throws a wrister on net. It goes in, made it 1-0. Pens stormed back from the second half of that period on. Connor Clifton got his first goal as a Penguin to break even with the Jackets, and then Ricard Raquel takes a corner pass from Sidney Crosby and puts that home as well. That made it 2-1 after one. On to the second period. This is when things turned in favor of the Jackets again. They got 2 second period goals from Kirill Marchenko, and just had to be another former Penguin, Danton Heinen, who was sent there for basically nothing, I guess. I'm not even sure how Heinen got there. I mean, he was just a throw-in in the Yegor Chinikov trade. He exacts revenge on his team. 3-2 heading into the third period. Pens, they were starting to sputter a little bit, but then they pushed hard, and they kept pushing and pushing with 1 minute exactly left on the clock. Sidney Crosby deflects home the game-tying goal, a nice slap shot pass from Chris Letang that tied things up at 3. On to overtime. Pens had the momentum, and they had opportunity after opportunity. They just could not buy a goal if they wanted to. So, unfortunately, the Penguins couldn't finish it in overtime. Goes to a shootout. You know what that meant. Pens fall in a shootout. Shilovs could do so much to stop the Jackets. I mean, gives up a goal every other shooter. The Pens and Chinikov, he scores another shootout goal, put him out there every single time. But, ban the shootout. Penguins clearly can't win when they get there. Just unfortunately, the way things are, how bad they are in shootouts. and all ex-Penguins for the Jackets generated offense in the game against the Pens. Aston Reese with a goal, Heinen with a goal, Eric Branson, longtime former Penguin, with an assist, and then Igor Zamula, who was a member of the Pens organization for all but 3 days. He got an assist as well against the team he did not want to play for. So 4-3 was the final score. Pens losing back on Saturday. And right now, this game in Seattle, it is game 1 of a 4-game Western road trip. So they're getting away from the friendly confines of PPG Paints Arena, looking to clear their head, maybe start a new winning streak here out on the West Coast. I think Erik Karlsson is with them. I'm not sure. Karlsson did skate yesterday in a non-contact jersey, which for his lower body injury, I think is a good sign. He's skating already. He might be on this trip, but I don't know. Definitely on the trip, though, for the Penguins. They called up forward Una Koppanen, and they activated from injured reserve forward Rutger McGroarty, who was out the past couple of games with a concussion. Neither of those men, though, Koppanen or McGroarty, are in the lineup today. Pretty much the same lineup for the Penguins. No changes. Just Stuart Skinner in net. This is also Sidney Crosby's 14th 100th career game. 1,400 games for Crosby. Over 1,700 points in those games. Truly remarkable stuff from the Penguins captain. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 8 of you still hanging in here right now. It's a little bit early, well, earlier than usual here on the channel, but that's all right for all the extra work we've been putting in on the live stream recently. Extra Pittsburgh sports news coming up here in a moment, but before we do that, one more comment just came in from Freight Train a few moments ago. Flores, the only defensive coordinator running his scheme right now, and will be featured and will be the future in the NFL. Shula running what 10 other coaches are running. Well, I mean, he is a part of that network of coaches, and he grew up in that system. When he took over, he got his own tweaks made to that defense. I'm not going to say, Shula was handed the keys to the car. Meanwhile, Flores built his. That's not the case. Shula has been working meticulously with this defense of the Rams for quite some time now. So I'm not going to discredit that it is just a scheme thing. He's a scheme merchant of a defensive coordinator here. I don't want to say that. Also, I mean, Shula, forward-thinking guy here. You're looking for a forward-thinking guy, schemes. He's the guy, says Flores. I'm not discrediting Flores here, but also what I will say, giving credit to Shula, second to last paid defense in the NFL, and he has them above league average in most defensive categories, does Shula. So he is doing a whole lot with not a whole lot. They invested in the draft, and they've got a couple of good guys there, but no high-paid ticket items on that defense for Shula. I think that counts for something as well beyond the scheme there, Freight Train. 11 of you now in here. Like I said, we are going to get back into the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach search. You keep your comments coming. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Keep your comments coming for the Steelers head coaching search, who you want. Speaking of the head coaching search, the old head coach, Mike Tomlin, he made his first public appearance since stepping down in Pittsburgh back on Friday night. This was after we went off the air. Tomlin down in Georgia, Athens, Georgia, for his daughter's gymnastics competition. So Tomlin, proud dad moment, said before that he wants to, go into obnoxious gym dad mode at some point in his life. Well, that time has now come. Great to see Coach T out there in a positive light after stepping down. Also went to the Georgia-Arkansas basketball game a day later. One guy who's not a big fan of Coach Tomlin, nor do I think he's going to be anytime soon. James Harrison, back on his podcast, not holding back on Coach T at all, said Tomlin is not a Hall of Fame coach. Said, didn't do all that much as Steelers head coach, built no coaching tree, had no disciples, anything like that. I believe there was also an exchange in there that Harrison read off on his podcast that he said, Tomlin wasn't better than Cower. Tomlin responded with something, well, you weren't as smart as Lawrence Timmons or someone. So definitely not a happy ex-employee, ex-boss relationship there between Mike Tomlin and Debo James Harrison. If anything else comes of that turns into a big hoopla, we will make note of it. Some other things on Tomlin. This from Rondé Barber, who I believe used to play for Tomlin, also has a podcast himself. He said that Tomlin revealed to him before the season that this would be his last year before stepping down. Barber added in that I think he's done, and I think he wants to be done. So Barber throwing on even more cold water that's just it for Tomlin. He's going to maybe go off, do something else entirely other than coaching. Maybe he's in the national spotlight, with a TV gig like what we thought he'd be doing. Maybe he goes what we think an Aaron Rodgers route would be, just go and be off the grid, out of the public eye. Nobody's really talking about him anymore, but we shall see there. Tomlin, done, according to Rondé Barber. Steelers, they made a few roster moves as well over the past few days. Today, the Black and Gold signed offensive lineman Satoa Laumea to a reserve future contract, 6'4", 319 pounds, went to Utah in college. So nice body right there to bring to camp next year, see if he will give you anything. Steelers also hosted former linebacker of the Minnesota Vikings, Gabriel Hall, for a free agent visit back on Friday. He is 6'2", 248 pounds. Wonder if they were looking at signing him for a future reserve contract. I doubt it. Did not see anything on him beyond that. Back to coach talk here for a moment. Even though he's 98, I'll put it at, percent not coming back to the Steelers next year, he is still technically under contract with the Steelers until further notice. Arthur Smith did interview today with the Los Angeles Chargers for their offensive coordinator position. No idea if he is in consideration for any more head coaching gigs, or if he is just pivoting strictly to offensive coordinator positions around the league. One spot he will not get, the Detroit Lions. They are hiring Drew Petzing as their OC he is of the Arizona Cardinals. So Detroit, they found their OC had one, I think, interview with Arthur Smith. Maybe even I'm not even sure if they got to that interview, but Smith will not go to Detroit. Any pipe dream out there that Steelers fans had about Matt LaFleur, Green Bay Packers head coach, potentially leaving Cheeseland and coming to Pittsburgh? I think you can put those hopes to rest. He signed a multi-year extension with the Packers over the weekend. So I thought that was, kind of crazy that he was being mentioned for the Steelers head coaching job to begin with, but he stays in Green Bay. Last two things here on the Steelers. Congratulations to the Houston Texans, more specifically their dumbass bowl mascot, for ripping the terrible towel. Told you guys the curse is real. So they went and got blown out by the New England Patriots for their troubles. Really hope the Denver Broncos, though, take care of the Patriots, because do not want the Patriots to break their tie with us for most Super Bowls in NFL history. In Jarrett Stidham, we trust. Am I right? Last thing here. on the Steelers for today. Congratulations to Steelers defensive tackle and captain Cam Hayward. He named all AFC defensive tackle by the Pro Football Writers Association of America. So Hayward getting recognition that the NFL fans didn't want to give him as an All-Pro. He was behind Jeffrey Simmons and Leonard Williams in the All-NFL voting. Just no idea how at that age, him playing as much as he did and having some damn good production, didn't necessarily have the sack total, which is the flashy thing fans go for. But Hayward definitely deserves some recognition. That one, I'm happy that he got. Moving into baseball here, I don't think there's any extra Pittsburgh Penguins news here for tonight because of the game going on to my right now. The Pirates, they are closing in on Pirates Fest. That is coming up here, I believe, this next weekend coming up. Pirate Fest, big get-together in Pittsburgh where fans are able to ask questions and meet and greets with members of the organization, including the front office. Usually before Pirates Fest, the Pirates do something to get the fans buzzing. Oddly enough, have not done that, nor is there any indication they are going to do that soon. They signed Ryan O'Hearn over a month ago. Now are getting damn near close to it. And since then, just a few minor league signings for the Pirates, nothing else. Got to wonder if they're actually asleep at the wheel here or if they're just lying in wait to do this, to get the fans back on their side before the weekend hits. One guy that is especially being talked about right now, Andrew McCutchen. He is still out there, still a free agent. Pirates Fest just a week away. Could Kutch be brought back as that feel-good move? We shall see. There's an article out there from Jason Mackey of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He interviewed McCutchen, asking him what he thought about the Pirates potentially making the postseason again. Kutch said, "There's a reason I came back. I didn't come back just to lose for 3 years, and that's it." So could that be a sign from Kutch saying, I'm looking to visualize going to the postseason? Is that here? Is that elsewhere? I don't know. Hopefully it's here. Michael McHenry commented on this article saying, great article. McCutchen deserves it. The city deserves it. The fans deserve it. And Kutch replying to that tweet with a gif of somebody checking their phone, just lying there in bed waiting for something to pop up on their phone. So I guess Kutch waiting for a call, maybe from the Pirates. We shall see if he comes off the board here in the next few days. The Pirates are still in on a big ticket free agent item, though. I've talked about him a bunch here because I really, really want him for third base. Eugenio Suarez, he is still out there despite the free agent market picking up a little bit over the past few days. I think Jeff Passan of ESPN, he sees where things are going. Of course, last week, Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers, Bo Bichette going to the Mets, Passan saying that unless a deal is in place, the MLB lockout in 2027 will take place. Fans and even some players don't feel like it's an opportunity. They have an opportunity or a shot at things going into the season, so we shall see. Suarez, though, still available. I think his market's dried up, but according to Ken Rosenthal, the Pirates, they have interest, and it's not a money thing with the Pirates. They could easily give Suarez the money. Instead, Suarez, maybe like most other free agents, doesn't view the Pirates as all that close to contending yet. I guess the signing of O'Hearn and the trade for Brandon Lowe didn't do that enough. In his mind, that's just speculation. That's not how Suarez feels. That's not confirmed, but that's just what Rosenthal is thinking right now. We'll see if the Bucs are able to get something done here in the next few days. The last few things here on the Pirates for today. Paul Skeens living his best life somewhere down south, getting some golf in before spring training with Bryson DeChambeau. This is like the winner of Skeens. He's been everywhere doing everything. Also, last thing here on the Bucs today, congratulations to Pittsburgh Pirates top prospect Connor Griffin. He getting married over the weekend to his high school sweetheart. So congratulations to KG. Gets a ring on his finger. Now he's going to hopefully make the opening day lineup for the Pirates, help them put another ring on his finger, that being a World Series championship. But I'm spitballing here, and that is damn near impossible. As a matter of fact, I put it at a 0% chance it happens. All right, 11 of you in here right now. Going to wrap up with your comments here in a moment. Freight Train putting it in there. I know. I see it, so I'm my head cocked over here. The Kraken tie up the game. Another defensive zone turnover. Chaos at the front of the net. And Skinner, I mean, a little bit out of position, but hey, he made the first stop. Can't ask him to make 2 or 3 on top of it. Second goal of the year for ex-New York Ranger Ryan Lindgren. And with 6 minutes left to go in the period, it's a tie game. So it sounds like things are going to go swimmingly. It's not meant to be a Kraken pun or a Penguin pun. Things are going to go swimmingly here for the Penguins, it seems. Back to your comment section, seeing where we picked up off. Freight Train and comment and concepts going back and forth here. See, we picked up here. Like Howard, just no clue how the team feels. If they trust Howard, I like him. I like Howard too, and I think fans are putting lofty expectations on Howard. I do want to see him get a shot. Am I going to proclaim he's the savior? No, but does he deserve a shot? I think that should happen as a national champion. Speaking of college national championship, about to kick off here in an hour, so I'm sure we're all going to be tuning into that. Defense wins championships, still is, but you need to score as well, of course. Think, what was it, heading into the weekend of playoff games, there were 4 head coaches with offensive backgrounds, 4 with defensive backgrounds. We know that McVay, the offensive mind, overcame another offensive mind, and Johnson. You then had trying to think here. You had the defensive guy, Vrabel, overcome another defensive guy in D'Amico Ryans. Defensive mind, McDaniel, beat offensive mind Shanahan. 49ers falling to the Seahawks. And then, what was the other one? The offensive guy, right? Of Sean Payton going over the defensive guy, McDermott, and McDermott got fired. So, defense wins championships. Steelers, they've created that term, honestly, but do need to score points. That's why I want Shula. Get the defensive guy, but you can bring a couple of pieces to make up your offense and try to make a facsimile of that offensive factory out there here in Pittsburgh. I would love for that. That would be my ideal world. Shula or Flores, I'm good with. Also going with an offensive guy. McCarthy is played out. Agreed. I mean, I like McCarthy, Yinzer, and all that, but like you said, just another offensive version of Mike Tomlin. Dude can do well in the regular season when he has the right pieces, but when playoffs roll around, his teams just can't find a way to win. So I'm good there as well, even though it would do absolute headlines getting a Yinzer coaching the Steelers. Not sure how much real interest there is there from the Steelers. So that still makes it a possibility, a slight one at that. See here, Truth on here. Welcome, Truth. Cannot be serious. Aaron Rodgers again. Steelers, torture for Steelers fans. 2020s has sucked royally so far. Oh, I mean, 2020 sucking royally. You got that part right, Truth. I mean, Rodgers, as the Penguins just scored to take the lead. Looks like it's Brett Kulak. Hell yeah. I mean, did we get a good enough Rodgers to make the playoffs last year? Yes. Did Rodgers put on that 4-time MVP Superman cape at times? Yes. But when he looks bad, he looks bad. And I think, Rodgers, next time you get Rodgers, it's going to be than it is good. He might put on the Superman cape only once or twice compared to the 4 or 5 times he had to do it this past season. He's going to be more of a passenger this time around than the driver if he were to come back, which I don't think this defense is in position to carry any sort of quarterback right now. So might as well get young and exciting on the offensive side of the ball, which includes Rodgers going elsewhere. See what else we got going on here in the comments section before we have a good rest of the night here. Smart to interview McCarthy just to hear from him. That's what, I'm sure half of this interviewing process is. You may not have too much real interest in the guy, but hey, bring him in, pick his brain a little bit. Maybe he changes your perception of him. Maybe he doesn't, but you get a idea of what type of coaches are out there, what coaches like to do. That helps you form a better opinion of who you like and who you don't like. So I like that. Doesn't mean he should be hired, though. Agree there. Yeah. Have high hopes for Howard. Can't just turn the team over to him. Need a competition brought in. Yeah, whether that's a free agent guy like a Malik Willis or something, or you draft a Trinidad Chambliss if he goes in, just got to bring in competition of some sort. They might view Mason Rudolph as competition, as he's already still on roster, as crazy as that sounds. McCarthy to Buffalo, 0% is harsh and inaccurate. Yeah, McCarthy to Buffalo. So we're replacing defensive Sean McDermott with offensive Sean McDermott. I mean, we can all throw McDermott, Harbaugh, Tomlin, McCarthy into these same groups, damn near, guys that get it done in the regular season, but when games get big, lights get bright, and you go into the playoffs, they then fall apart a little bit. So, yeah, McCarthy won't be replacing too much of Sean McDermott coaching there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is just about going to wrap things up here on this Monday night. I want to thank you for joining me one last time here. Let's go through Twitter, see if we have any new bits of information before we log off this evening. Andrew McCutcheon on Twitter before we log off with a mic drop here, saying it is really funny how so many people say I can't play defense. I haven't played much defense because they haven't asked that of me. The only reason I played a few games last year is because Reynolds needed rest with a minor injury, and I asked to play defense to get in the lineup. No one said anything then. Bottom line is, if it is needed, I can not only do it, but do it like I've been out there all year. So stop creating false narratives and take your wives or girlfriends out to dinner and get off the coattails of other men. That's weird energy. Man, McCutcheon, he has been snapping on Twitter over the past few weeks. I think just last week, didn't talk about it on here. He was ranting and raving about a P test he had to do. So, geez. Kutch is still saying he'll be what, 37, 38, something like that when next season begins. Still saying he can play defense. He's putting that out there. I'm still giving him a shot. Might as well bring him back at this point. All right. I think that is going to wrap things up here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for joining me. Appreciate it. And on your way out, of course, please hit that subscribe button. We'll hang around here for a few more minutes. You guys can get any last-minute comments you got going on. Penguins are on a power play right now with little over 2.5 minutes left to go here in the second period. It was maybe Ricard Raquel who scored the goal I saw in the comment section. Raquel crossed in front of the net, in front of the goalie. Create a screen for Brett Kulak's shot. Good job by Raquel. Made it 3-2. We can pop this up there. See if the Pens have anything left in store on this power play. Raquel sending it across here for Malkin. Malkin down the boards. Up back high to Chris Letang. Now Malkin on the other side of the zone picks it up, thrown to the front of the net, and jam attempt from Brian Rust came loose. There was a wide open cage there, but Crosby couldn't get to it, and the Kraken clears. So the second power play unit is going to come on now for a change. I think Brett Kulak has been taken over for Letang on the second unit because Letang has been filling in for Carlson. We'll see if Kulak comes on here. That pass from Letang bounces off of a stick and is sent back down again. Skinner behind the net, plays it off, and the Penguins come up ice again. Not much doing on this power play. Not much at all. Second team coming in. Yep, indeed. On the prowl here, we drafted a quarterback this year, next year. Next year, I definitely would because that quarterback draft class, every single good quarterback this draft class went back to, unless, they're a senior and they have no eligibility left. Every single quarterback in this draft class went back to school for more money. So they're going to get more experience next year. Hopefully they don't lose any of their potential. Like Dante Moore, Lenora Sellers, those guys who were thought to be near the top of the draft, they went back to school for more money. So, yeah, definitely take a quarterback next year. You're going to have a ton to pick from. This year. It's just nothing. So I'm not touching a quarterback this year unless it's, day 3 at least. We have our WR2. We need WR1. Who's our WR2? Yeah, WR1, DK. I'm just putting out DK as you need 2 wide receivers. I'm not putting him as not when I say WR1, I don't mean he's the number 1 or WR2 saying the guy will be a 2. DK he is a 1 or a 2. It just depends on how you look at it there. So I'm not going to elevate him more than what he's been playing at, which he played like a number 2 this year. Can we get that WR1? Tons of those in the draft, just like how there aren't quarterbacks. There are that many wide receivers, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to wrap things up here for the evening. I want to thank you all. Appreciate you stopping by here on a Monday. We'll see. We're back here tomorrow. There should be more news on what the Steelers head coaching search is looking like. Some more rumors and stuff to talk about. We'll talk about this game and how it ends tomorrow as well. So still, we'll keep things churning along here now that football season is over, but the content will continue to roll because of the head coaching searches going on around the league. I want to thank you all. Have a good rest of your Monday night. On your way out, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, like, share, leave a comment on this live stream. I'll get back to you after the show. If you think of something, then put it in the comment section. I'll leave you a like and a comment as well, maybe. Also, go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and come back later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your Monday nights. Enjoy the national championship tonight. Enjoy, hopefully, what will be the ending of the Penguins getting out of Seattle with a W. We shall see. But yeah, enjoy some more football tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow to talk more Pittsburgh sports news. Have a good one. Peace.